So now it's time for Dawn and Geof to say maybe 3 minutes worth of your reaction to the vision that Governor Ferron has laid out. Dawn, we'll start with you.
Okay. I think it's really exciting, and I am inspired to see the cutting edge vision that CAISO is putting out there, and defining what needs to change is really a good first step, and then defining what some of the solutions are is really important. I think that the implementation is where it's going to get tricky, and I think all of us here can help be engaged in that process. And the things that really stood out to me, I think that the mantra decarbonize and decentralize is really a good one, and it's a really good way of, in a super succinct 2 words, explains the transformation that the grid is undergoing right now, that the energy industry is undergoing right now. It affects a lot of folks. It affects unions, it affects the workforce, it affects the utilities and the customers. So new systems need to be put in place that can make it work. I think that it was very, the comments about the institutional systems being disjointed are a really good reflection of certainly what we've seen, and the need for more coordination. But I think that the speed by which the duck curve made its way around California is a really good indication that people are paying attention. People are looking for solutions, and so I think we're well on our way to starting to make a change. And the last thing that stood out to me is kind of the multiple value streams, and when we talk about the multiple value streams that are needed to make batteries pencil out. I think that unlocking the potential for that value to really flow and incentivize growth in that sector, it's a great model for other technologies, automated load control and that sort of thing. If we can unlock if we can incentivize the right things and unlock those value streams, it'll really help a lot. And the last thing I'll say is that while we want to find ways to reduce our load during the peak hours, the cost that it takes for us to do that isn't matched by any revenue benefits to us, as I mentioned before. And so I think with this presentation we can see that we're well on our way to moving in that direction, and we're ready to partner with CAISO and the CPUC. We can set rates in a month that incentivize, and in fact we have a battery storage rate right now that's never been used because it's a new technology, but the battery storage rate gives folks a $10 a month incentive to allow us to control the dispatch of that battery at least once per day. Now, having that control is a really good first step to help us, bid that into CAISO and help with the duck curve issue. But we aren't yet in a position to receive any value for that at CAISO until we are able to aggregate a huge number of folks that sign up for that rate. But that's just one example of how we're ready, we're eager, we're ready to make it happen, and getting the rest of the institutional systems to develop the right incentives, I think will be the missing piece. And once that's done, I think we'll see a lot of benefits really fast.
All right. My first lesson is you all got to start, so there's more than just 2 of us up here. So next year, there'll be a lot more operating CCA. Barbara, I'm looking at you. All right. Hey, I too love decarbonize and decentralize. I think one just piece of our history is that our Joint Powers Authority Agreement is really set up to promote renewable energy as one of the concepts, but we've had to refine that. And that is, building renewable energy doesn't help the climate. I'll just let that sink in for a second. If the only thing that happens is you build new renewable energy, the climate is actually slightly worse off, because there were some impacts from the construction and the manufacturing. What you have to do to help the climate is turn off the fossil. So if renewables does that, you're winning. If it doesn't do that, and you're just adding more energy use, you're not. So keeping your eye on the right metric matters a lot. So affordability and climate, those are two great metrics to keep your eye on. And I just want to underline that's really serious. And that turns you into looking at things like, whoa, let's do fuel switching, not just for cars, but for heating, home heating, and all kinds of other uses. Because if we've got a super clean fuel called renewable electricity, then let's switch everyone onto it. So it expands how you think, and it also it helps you work backward from the goal. So if working forward is challenging, flip it around. I like to work backwards. Start with the end goal, which is, okay, let's say affordable energy that's zero carbon for all human purposes, all right? So let's just start there. Well, what do we build? What do we retrofit? We have foot-thick walls. We have killer windows on buildings. We have LED lighting everywhere. And guess what? You don't need a transmission grid if everything was like that. You actually don't need that at all. Or at least you need 10% of what we have. So there's a huge kind of interesting set of opportunities for new businesses, I think, when you work backward from that kind of goal, not just in new construction, but in the retrofit world as well. And I think that was great. One of the things, so you called out the diurnal versus seasonal problem. Storage is great for solving some of the peak loads in any given day, but it takes a lot of batteries to store very much energy. And so that seasonal problem, 2 weeks of dark with no wind, what do you do? And I want to, is Craig Wooster here from Stonehenge? Are you here? Great. Everyone I'm calling? He was here. Okay, somebody else was here from Stonehenge. That's all right. So Stonehenge Farms in Sonoma County has built, I should say, and is still building a solar hydrogen microgrid on a vineyard, and it's running, and it's extraordinary. So they've got a hydrogen-powered car coming, they've got fueling stations that are powered with hydrogen. That's not in my window yet. I can't touch that. It's too expensive, it's too experimental, it's too difficult, but we have to store something. And as we think ahead, start thinking about seasonal problems as well, and help us contribute to solutions to those kind of problems. Because right now, we're depending on natural gas for that period. And that 5 to 10% that Lyndon Rive mentioned, that I think he said getting to 90% renewables we know how to do, and I agree with that. It's that last 5 to 10% or so that is a bitch. And so we need some answers and some ideas on that. And it would really help to have more people in the game. And I'll leave it there.
Beautiful. So let's have a hand for Don.